This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
We welcome you to a special...
And hold on, you say you thought Harris would win the night before? Yeah, I did. I slightly favored Harris winning with an electoral college W in the blue wall, as opposed to like a general election overall population victory for Donald Trump. I thought that Donald Trump was actually going to win the popular vote, and Kamala Harris had a slight chance of winning the electoral college. And the reason why she lost the electoral college, and I said the only reason why it was a slight, very marginal chance for Kamala Harris, was because of the many failures of the campaign that I have been actively communicating for months and months and months. I've been screaming about this shit, and so have many others. But ultimately, everyone came in here and chirped and chirped and chirped and chirped and chirped and chirped and said, no, you don't understand. The ground game is great. The ground game wins elections. Ground game wins elections. It doesn't matter when the top line communications are bad. If the campaign doesn't have a good message, $30 million of ad spend in every swing district is not going to change it, okay? You can pump them filled to the brim with bad messages and bad campaign strategies. They're not going to respond positively to it. And the polls were right. They didn't respond to it. That's it. The polls were correct. And it's very frustrating because ultimately, all of the unimaginable problems that we presented over and over again that so many people did not want to see were correct. Revisionist history, dude, you are shameless. You said she would win. The video is still you. Chatters, please, I beg you, look at this. Look at this. What the hell is Kamala doing with Ested Herndon of the New York Times? Okay, is Kamala Harris's strategy all wrong? Are Democrats throwing this election? Does Kamala Harris still have a chance? Kamala Harris is wild for doing this podcast for months and months and months and months. I said consistently that Kamala Harris has a slight chance of victory, but overall her prospects are dire. I said over and over again that the reason why this race is even close, despite Trump's campaign being overall awful, which it is, and many people are going to tell you it was brilliant. Many people are going to tell you Trump was brilliant. He did a fantastic job. He did not. He did not do a fantastic job. Donald Trump lost votes from 2020. Kamala Harris lost a fuck ton more votes from 2020. And that's it. You should have been more vocal. This is on you, brother. You're an idiot and directly influenced this. That's funny. You're right. Definitely. I directly did this. Yeah, I did this. I'm Kamala Harris, by the way. Guys, I did this. I'm Kamala Harris. I've been working with Kamala Harris. I'm Doug. I'm both of them. I have actually been campaigning with Kamala Harris. I'm the one who sent Richie Torres to Michigan. I'm the one who told the campaign to send Bill Clinton to Michigan to be like, don't vote for us. We don't want it. My mistake. Okay. My mistake. I was the one who said Liz Cheney should be a prominent fixture of the campaign. My bad. That was me. I'm the one who said, do not campaign about any of the economic issues that a shit ton of Americans are experiencing in a time when they have felt negative real wage growth. Do not do that. Do not talk about that at all. Okay. No matter what. Talk about civility. Talk about institutions and talk about defending those institutions. That's what I said to the campaign. That was me. That was my bad. I was like, please, no matter what you do, there are 35 polls that show that you are picking up at least 6 points if you change trajectory, if you separate yourself from Biden's Gaza policy. No matter what, do not do that. Do not separate yourself from Biden. I said in the last hour, do not ever separate yourself from Biden. Go on The View. I said to Kamala Harris, I said, Madam Vice President, you must go on The View and you must tell the American population that you are just like Joe Biden. I'm sorry. As a Democratic campaigner, I said all of those things and they listened. And now I'm here to say, my bad. Especially in younger male spaces, everything is completely dominated by right-wing politics. If you're a dude under the age of 30 and you have any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out, whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever, every single facet of that is just completely dominated by center-right to, I wouldn't say far-right in the same way that it was back in like the 2016 era at the end of like Obama's administration, but like definitely center-right to Trumpian right, like openly Trump right, not like genuinely neo-Nazi. Go back and re-examine the conversation I had with the Podjohns. The Podjohns are the most like permissible left-leaning people that you can have within the orbit of the Democratic Party versus someone who is completely outside of the influence, outside of the sphere of the Democratic Party. Compare that conversation, compare the notes, compare the warnings that I issued to the Podjohns on the Crooked Media podcast that I was on, okay? And you will understand why we failed. You will understand why the Democratic Party failed. You will understand what the Democratic Party has to do. They will not do it because obviously they are beholden to the same corporate benefactors. They are still beholden to the same corporate masters, just as the Republican Party is. But the Republican Party gets away with being cruel. The Democratic Party still has to maintain the veneer that they are progressive, that they're supposed to be a counterbalance, that they're supposed to be a counterweight to the Republican creep towards fascism. That part is quieted down a little bit, but like they're like 90% of the way there for the most part. And that's it. Everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic, thought leaders, influencers that they subscribe to. And I think that that is some of the reason why you see this movement. The bro vote came through for Trump, 49 to 47. Yeah, 49% to 47%. I don't think people understand what this looks like. I don't think people understand what the future prospects look like for the Democratic Party, what the future looks like for this country. Meanwhile, on MSNBC, the progressive era has to end if the Democrats want to win again. They are tacking right again. It does not matter for them. They literally, as I told you, also correctly, they do not give a shit. They do not care. They do not care about this defeat. They're using this to say, we didn't go far right enough. This is not a cultural war that you can fucking win just by doing podcasts. That's not, you can't do that. You have to still have a solid defense mechanism at the top that aligns with the interests of people like myself, okay? If the Democratic Party still is running around being like, everything is fine, actually. I mean, oh my God, just vote for us. The institutions, we got to defend the institutions. While everyone is like, I don't give a fuck about the institutions, man. The price of bread is too high. The price of eggs is too fucking high. Fuck you. I don't give a shit about your stupid civility. I want to blow it up is their mentality. You can't reach to them. You can't reach out to them. You can't communicate to them. There is a lot of ground to make up. The biggest lesson the 2024 campaign has don't matter. Studies agree, but the media space does. The right has content mills churning out brain dead slop. They're popular. They work. Them should plow through their massive warships in the progressive and liberal media. No, that's not the only problem here. That's not the only issue. It's not just that like they're not giving me enough money so I can dominate the podcast circuit or whatever. If their solution is to unleash 1 million Harry Hasans into the fucking suburbs, they're still gonna lose. They have to address the material harms that people are fucking experiencing. If they don't do that, it doesn't matter. You can have every single TikTok twink out there running the fucking gamut, talking about owning people in the marketplace of ideas. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not just about dominating the fucking communications field, okay? You cannot have a party that is ideologically committed to third way neoliberalism, constantly tacking to the fucking center right, constantly trying to re-triangulate as the Republican Party pulls the entire fucking country towards fascism. You can't do that. I think Trump has a chance of defeating Joe Biden. But worse than that, even if Joe Biden wins, I think we go back to business as usual politics here in America. And next time around, it's not going to be Donald Trump. It's actually going to be an ideologically minded fascist, not a proto-fascist who kind of succeeded somehow and fooled Americans for long enough to get into a position of power, but an actual terrifying leader.
Oh, my goodness.
I think Trump. Oh, my goodness. Well, I was wrong. It was Donald Trump, at least on that front. But it's Donald Trump who is the fascist. Like, the people that come in here and say you're responsible for this electoral defeat are just like delusional losers that are looking to place the finger of blame at anyone but the Democratic Party for some weird reason, okay? Staggering class realignment / shift in working class from Jeff Stein at Washington Post. Harris lost despite major shift of affluent voters her way. Literally what I said about her hemorrhaging the base while simultaneously desperately trying to grab on to as many suburban Hitlerites as possible happened. That's it. The base fell out. The bottom fell. That's what happens when you fucking run around and go, I'm small business. I'm a small business. I love transnational gangs and prosecuting them. I love prosecuting small transnational gangs as a business. What am I going to do for the economy? Oh, don't worry. $50,000 in tax cuts if you want to start a startup. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Talk about how you are going to unleash Lena Khan on fucking price gougers. Talk about how you're going to make the grocery stores scream bloody murder for the crime of price gouging. That's what people wanted. That's what they wanted. Yeah. This is the chart. She spent months courting Republican endorsements, writing the 2016 Clinton strategy to certain defeat. They risked it all to build a centrist party of suburbanites and college kids and lost. It's time to move on, but I don't think the Dems will move with us. Registered Republicans, shockingly, voted for Republicans. Kamala Harris saw Nikki Haley absolutely get demolished in the Republican primary and said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be Nikki Haley, but with a D next to my name. 400,000 likes, by the way. This is not Kamala's fault. She worked her ass off to a beautiful campaign with 100 days she had. She's arguably the most qualified U.S. presidential candidate ever with prior experience in all three branches of the government. Americans simply voted against their best interest. It is always the fault of the campaign. She had $1 billion. She had $1 billion. And she lit it on fire. Shut the fuck up. What do you need? $2 billion? You want $3 billion? The fuck are these people talking about?